I always felt so bad. Like I wouldn't cancel. I would not cancel, even if, I don't know, Freddie Mercury came back from his grave and gave his one last concert. I would not cancel. I wouldn't cancel because I had made a commitment.
It's the Germany Experience, the podcast about life in Germany as seen through the eyes of outsiders. I'm your host, Sean. Visit the website, thegermanyexperience.de, or get in touch, info@thegermanyexperience.de. Now, this week's topic is something that you're probably going to come across in your time in Germany. On your way to making friends, you will hopefully at some point be invited over to a German's house for dinner or for coffee or cake. Whether it's your neighbor or potential friends, or you're meeting co-workers or whatever, you're probably going to end up with a dinner invitation. And when this happens, it would be good for you to know what's expected of you. In this episode, I am joined by Nina, the alleged German, who walks us step by step through being a dinner guest in a German's home. Of course, the thing to keep in mind here is your experience is going to vary depending on the individual Germans you're dealing with, the formality of the situation, and of course, where you are in Germany. But Nina will give a general idea of what Germans might be expecting of you in this situation. If you have any advice of your own about this, or maybe an experience of a dinner party that went wrong, or something that you want to share, send your thoughts to me at info@thegermanyexperience.de. And now, here's Nina. Nina, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining me from the United States of America.
Hi, Sean. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it is. It's so weird when you say it's nice to be back, because I have the feeling like we're always talking to each other. But that's because we have a separate podcast called Die Deutsche und der Ausländer, and we get to speak every week on that, auf Deutsch.
In German.
Yes, and that lets me practice my German, and people have even told us they like to learn German by listening to the...
It's funny, and people always say how encouraged they are by you speaking German. I'm like... His German is great. What do you mean it encourages? If Sean can speak German, I can do it. Well, obviously, but...
I think it's like, if this guy can do a podcast with his level of German, I'm fine. So I'm happy to be that kind of inspiration to people, I guess. So any kind of inspiration is fine. It's fine. But you're in the United States of America now. You've decided to make a little trip.
I decided to cross the big pond. Yes, I've been here since New Year's, and I'm going to be here for almost 3 more weeks.
Okay, in Kansas.
In Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas. They call it the Little Apple, which I think is terrible, but hey.
That's adorable. It's adorable.
It's terrible.
But you are coming back eventually, and
yes.
And it's so cool to have you back. I always love the episodes that you're on the Germany Experience, and we did an episode for Die Deutsche und der Ausländer, which while I was doing it, I was like, oh my God, foreigners need to hear this, need to go through. This is exactly the kind of episode that I want to do on the German Experience. So I asked you to come over to be a guest again for like the 700th time on the German Experience. You're pretty much a co-host at this point.
Oh, this is so great.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about German house rules. So when you get invited to someone's house for either Kaffee und Kuchen, coffee and cake, or for dinner. What is expected of you, some basic things. And before we start, I will say that the caveat is it's not going to be like this in every home that you visit, obviously, right? So
I'm going to talk about my home.
Nina's going to talk about her home, but she is a German, so she comes from a German home, so she's qualified to speak about that. But it depends on the people.
Typical German things, yes, and it depends on the people. And I think what we also said on Die Deutsche und der Ausländer, it depends on your level of friendship with the people as well.
Yes.
So even the option of getting invited to coffee and cake or dinner depends on your friendship level. And anything other than that means you're really good friends. So if you get invited for lunch or something, or brunch, Germans love some brunch. This is you're in the inner circle. You made it. Congratulations. You convinced the Germans.
You now have a German friend. You probably can dudes each other. You can do each other.
If they invite you for brunch, you may dudes them.
Okay, so we're moving past Z, and you can use do. But that's a very difficult thing, and that's something I've said on this podcast as well, is that for us as South Africans, we would, if we meet someone, it could be on the day we meet someone at a sports club or something, and we say, hey, come back to our place for dinner tonight. And then the person would come home and you would prepare something, and then you would have dinner together and a nice chat and a few beers, and then off they would go. But it's not the case in Germany, because when you get invited for dinner at a German's house, that is like intimate. You're at an intimate level now. You are friends, and like you said, you've really made a German friend. So that's something that's a bit different as well for foreigners that they need to.
Yes, and if you're like, also depending on your level of friendship, it depends on how spontaneous the Germans are. So even my friends, like really good friends, I know I don't even have to ask them if we want to do something tonight, because their schedule is planned out for the whole week. So I better tell them today I want to do something next week, so I get a spot in the calendar. So typical German, everything has a time slot, and you can't move things. So I have some German friends. I learned this from non-German friends. They're like, it's okay to cancel on me for better plans. If you cancel on a German for something better, you lost a friendship. You will never get an invite again. It's over.
That is a good point. Good point. That's so true. Back in South Africa, if there was like a concert came up, for example, that was on that day,
and you said, I want to go to the concert,
it'd be fine. It'd be no problem. But the Germans, I have some German friends where it would be like, but we were scheduled on that day to think. So it's kind of holy if you make an appointment like that. It's kind of holy. The thing is, though, before we start getting deeper into this conversation as well, is the thing to remember is Nina is a friend to the foreigners. So when you're hearing things from Nina as well, just keep in mind she's a little more open. Like she understands. She has a lot of foreigner friends, and so she might be a little more understanding of foreigners' habits. But what I like about
I learned it, and I'm doing it now too. Like now, I always felt so bad. Like I wouldn't cancel. I would not cancel, even if, I don't know, Freddie Mercury came back from his grave and gave his one last concert. I would not cancel. I wouldn't cancel because I had made a commitment. And my friends, like my friends would cancel on me, and I would get super upset. I'm like, I made plans with you, and I'm not going to get anyone else to make plans with me because it's today and you canceled on me. And now I'm like, hey, I've just been invited to this dinner. I know we agreed to go out for this drinks, but I really want some free dinner. And they're like, yeah, fine. And I'm like, this is great. This is so great.
I love my foreigner friends.
But but yes. Like a couple of years ago, I was highly offended if you and foreigners do this in general. They like a German, if we cancel on you for something better, we'll be like, my mom got sick, I gotta go help out. And then you'll see me downtown and I'll be like, she got miraculously better. But my foreigner friends would tell me straight up, hey, I'm going to dinner tonight. I'm like, no, you're not. You're coming to my place. And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm getting free dinner. And I'm like, lie to me. Don't be honest. Lie to me.
But basically the rule here is if you're just making friends with Germans or whatever, the chances are if you make
just
a
getting
date,
to know them,
you really have to be sick. You have to have corona or something that prevents you from going. They're probably not going to understand if you try and change the date because something better came up.
Also, don't pull any surprises. Like, I'm okay with it, and I know people do this, and I'm completely fine with it. But don't pull any surprises on Germans. Like, oh, this one friend also asked me to hang out tonight. I'll just bring him over to this. Not. Also, if you ask and the German says it's okay, it's not okay. They will feel forced. They will feel forced to say yes, it's okay if you bring them over, but they will be mad.
Yeah, and probably won't get another invitation back. So.
Maybe not soon, no.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so Nina, we've gotten in the door. We've gotten an invitation to...
the door. No, you're not at the door. You got the invitation.
We got the invitation.
You just got the invitation.
That's right. So that's the phase that we're at now. We've got a dinner date coming up. What happens next?
You should prepare. So depending on what kind of dinner it is. So for example, I don't expect you to bring flowers, but for example, if friends are coming over to my mom's or parents' place, and they haven't met my mom before, they would bring, I'm not saying a big bouquet, but I don't know, oh, just roses from my garden, or oh, I made a little cake or something. So if your host's parents are there, or let's say you're invited to a coworker's place, it's very good etiquette to bring a nice bottle of wine, flowers for the lady, or like a dessert. But if you bring food, ask them like, hey, I would like to bring a dessert. Is that okay? And this is for if you don't know the people very well, or like I said, if the parents or grandparents are home or something. My friends usually bring a bottle of wine, but not for me. It's for us to share at the dinner. So we drink it together. This is intimate German level. You share.
Yeah.
Germans you don't know so well, you bring a little thank you for inviting me gift.
Okay.
So this is what you should prepare before going.
This is another question that I have for you. It's more from the host perspective, though. But I also heard that when you bring a bottle of wine, for example, that in general they won't drink that wine that night. It's a gift for them, and they're not going to open it, which is also strange.
Exactly.
In South Africa, when you bring a bottle of wine, you're saying, "Hey, we're going to drink this tonight together." But Germans don't do that. They'll put that aside and then open the other wine that they had planned for the evening.
Exactly. So, like I said, I do it with my close friends, a little bit differently. I'll be like, okay, I invite you for dinner, and they're like, what do I bring? And I'm like, okay, you're responsible for like all the drinks, alcoholic drinks, sodas. Okay. You're in charge of the drinks. It's different. Like I said, for example, if they bring a friend and I don't know that friend, and that friend brings a wine, it's like, this is for you. I also will not open it. It will go in a secret corner. And it actually happened a couple of years back that for a birthday dinner. So it was my birthday dinner, but we celebrated a week late or something. And newly arrived, so one of my friend's girlfriend arrived to Germany, and of course he brought her, and she brought me a wine from Argentina.
Okay.
And she's like, this is for you. Thank you that I could also come. I'm, no problem. And I put this wine in a corner because it was a wine from Argentina, from her home country. It was a very nice wine. And I didn't want to use it for a birthday dinner because you're going to get shit-faced. And apparently I didn't hide it well enough. And some of my friends just assumed all alcohol. So we get to this later, but they just went to my kitchen, got another bottle of wine, and it was that wine. Oh, no. And I come back from the bathroom, and the wine bottle's already open, and I was just mad. That was a gift from like the new girlfriend, and I hadn't planned on drinking it tonight because it was a nice wine. So,
I've had as a host here in Germany, I've had Germans come over sometimes, and what happens sometimes is I'll have the wine planned for the evening, and then they'll arrive and they'll give me a really nice bottle of wine,
and you want to drink it immediately.
Like, yeah, but I feel bad like putting their really nice wine in the cupboard for us not to drink tonight and opening this really shitty wine in comparison that I have planned for tonight. I'm like, I feel like I really should be. But the Germans don't expect you to open it. I've learned that you put that aside, put it away.
But if you want to and you feel bad, so I would offer them. So they get there, they give you this nice wine. So this is a tip if you're hosting Germans. If they get there, they give you wine, and it's a nice wine and you want to try it. What I would suggest is you first offer them, you can drink this and this. And then they'll be like, usually Germans, I want a beer first, or for starters, I would just like some water. And then you give them their first drink. And then when they're about to finish their first drink, you're like, I'm really intrigued by your wine. Like, it looks so good. I'm going to open it now because I want to try it with you guys. Yeah. So don't open their wine first. Give them something first and then be like, it looks really good. Okay. Like, I want to open it now and share it with you. This is something you can do.
That's great advice, Nina. That's very good advice.
Here, I'm your new life coach, Sean.
You're my German coach. I need you. I'm just going to phone you at like 4 a.m. on Kansas time and say, Nina, I've got this problem with the German. How do I deal with it?
I'll do it. I'll pick up for you at 4 a.m.
Something that made me laugh. So this is the day of the visit now. Something that made me laugh when we spoke about it at the podcast is you explained to me how Germans clean when they know that they're getting a visit.
Not only are you preparing for the dinner by buying a little gift, a little something, the Germans are preparing. Yeah. And let me get this, I'm also doing this. So I know people are coming over, I will clean my apartment. And I'm not talking about vacuuming. I'm like cleaning, dusting. I might even throw my drapes in a washing machine and iron them. So it looks like cleaning. It's clean. It's clean. It doesn't matter if I cleaned 2 days earlier. I'm going to clean it. But the way this works in German households, like when I was living with my parents, so my parents would have friends, their friends. I'm talking adult friends, and I'm talking adult friends without kids, because with kids it's a different thing, but adult friends without kids. You have to, and you don't start cleaning like 3-4 hours, the whole day. You're cleaning the house. You as a kid, you drop a crumb on the floor.
It's trouble.
You're disgrace off the family. I'm talking you like not getting an inheritance anymore. And Like I as a kid, so my parents are having visitors with no kids. There's no one for me to play, so
That's
I
right.
have to help. Like not like deep clean, but I have to help. My mom will be like, put the dishes in the dishwasher, take them out again.
Yeah.
Bring me up the laundry so I can iron them. Bring me this, bring me that. So she's doing the cleaning, and then just clean your room. Why do I have to clean my room? You are going to have visitors over. They're not coming into my room because I'm a child.
No one is
Go
going to
clean
see
your
this
room.
room.
No one's gonna see this room. No, you as a kid go clean your room, and it doesn't end at the kids' room. You also have to clean your broom closet. Like not me, my mom's cleaning her broom closet because of course the first thing the visitor is gonna do in a German household is he's gonna walk into the door without saying hi. He's gonna dash straight through the house and he's gonna open the broom closet and he's gonna find a little bit of dust. He's gonna be like, ha,
Forget.
I knew it. I knew it.
Honey,
I'm
we're
never
out of
coming.
here. We're out of
I'm
here.
never coming back. Yeah,
The
but
broom
this is
closet.
the impression Germans have. And for example, when my parents are my visitors, I go in hyperdrive. Like you could lick my floor, you could lick my doors, you could lick my windows. So if parents are coming over, it's even worse. The whole
Okay.
cleaning thing.
Yeah, it needs to be a whole new level of clean. That is good
You
to
need
know.
to be able to operate on every surface in this apartment.
Yeah, so you get to a spotless house, and then I guess the Germans ask them, I'm sorry, it looks like this right now. Usually it looks better than this.
Oh yes, I don't take off your shoe. Okay, this is another thing. So
Okay, so yes.
Germans prepared, you prepared. Yeah, let's move along. You prepared, the Germans prepared. You get to the Germans' house. One thing I hate to this day, and I will always hate what my foreigner friends do is like, hey, I'm here. Can you open the door? Just ring the goddamn doorbell. Just ring the doorbell. Because I might still be cleaning or I might still be putting food into my oven and I'm not glued to my phone.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, I see the text message, can you open the door? And I'll be like, ring the goddamn doorbell.
But why wouldn't they ring the bell, Nina? I don't understand.
Because apparently in some countries they don't.
Oh, I see. So it could be a cultural thing that they let you know on the phone. Because I know with
They let you know on the phone.
people are sometimes hesitant to ring the bell if
With
I've got kids and it's
kids.
past their
But
bedtimes. Then I do
honestly,
know people.
I
But
will
then
still ring a door unless you tell me, hey,
yes,
I'm putting my kids to
exactly.
bed, don't ring.
Exactly.
If you don't tell me this, I will ring the doorbell and it's completely your own fault.
That's right. I have friends. I've had friends over where they come for sort of late night drinks, and then I say, "Let me know when you're there." But then I'm watching my phone. I'm not preparing like a casserole.
And you're
or
watching your
something
phone.
like that.
Yes.
So
And that's what I'm saying. So ring the doorbell unless I tell you not to ring the doorbell. Also, Germans would tell you if the doorbell isn't working. So you don't have to be worried about this. I would know if my doorbell isn't working because I'm German.
Yeah.
We just have this spidey sense telling us
just ring the bell.
it's broken.
Just ring
the bell.
On that subject, so I guess this goes hand in hand, but tell me about punctuality in Germany. Like how important it is also to be on time.
Be on time, and even better, be 5 minutes early.
5 minutes early? Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that piss you off?
No.
No. Okay.
Because I had the food ready 30 minutes before you got there.
So you could be a few minutes earlier. That's acceptable, but do not be late because then the food is going to be cold and.
Yeah, I get. So I'm used to it with my friends. I still get mad if they're like 30 minutes late. I think you could say if it's within a 5 minute. So let's say you invited for 8:15.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a reason why you would never be invited for 8 o'clock, but I'll tell you that. You're invited for 8:15. It's okay to arrive anywhere between 8:10 and 8:20. So the reason you never get invited to a very German household at 8 is because the Tagesschau is on, the news of the day.
No, come on.
Do not interrupt the Tagesschau.
So if you're going to be visiting at that time, there's a reason you will never be invited at 8. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes. Even okay. So Germans have these weird rituals, like Tagesschau or the Tatort. They would never invite you during those times. Yeah. And even as a kid, when I'm over, my mom was working, my dad was working, and if I had to go to a friend's place because my mom was working late, it would be super awkward. So I would be offered lunch, and then I would just get like a piece of toast, and the family had like this big warm lunch. And when I finished my toast, of course, a lot quicker than like the rest of the family, what you do in Germany is like you don't interfere. You just sit there very quiet and wait for the family to finish their food. And there's even sometimes like if I already had lunch and I'm like, no, I'm good. I had lunch at school or something.
Yeah.
you don't even go to the table. You sit awkwardly
Oh
in the
my
living
God.
room
Oh my
and wait
God.
for them to be done with lunch. Yeah, this is Germany.
That's
But you don't have to worry about that. You have adult friends. You don't need to worry about
Yeah.
that. And like I said, being invited to lunch is a whole another thing.
Yeah, whole other thing. So okay, so you've shown up at the right time.
At the right time.
You've
Rang the
rung the
doorbell.
bell, and then you're at the door.
You're at the door. The German opens the door. You say, "Hello, thank you for inviting me." The German says, "Oh, so nice you came. Come in." Don't walk straight in, like you walk into the house, but just don't keep walking. Walk into the house, and then the most important question you can ask a German, if the German doesn't already tell you, is shoes on or off.
Yeah,
Most important
it's
question.
vital.
I would say in about 80%, if it's a formal thing, the German will tell you, leave your shoes on. I didn't clean. Of course they cleaned. I told you already they cleaned. But the Germans will, no, don't take off your shoes. I didn't clean today.
Okay.
If it's an informal thing between like friends or co-workers that are not friends, but you get along well, they will offer you house shoes.
Yeah.
So indoor shoes, slippers, loafers,
I know.
whatever. And I also have this. I have like these, these things, the pantoffel.
It's like a rack of a thing that you can hang up with the house shoes in it. Yeah.
It's a rack you can hang up with your house shoes, and it has every imaginable size. So I have everything from a 4 to a 12 in there.
So you're ready for any sized guest.
I'm ready for any sized guest to come into my house.
Okay. You know what I've taken to doing is I used to bring my own house shoes to people's houses.
This is also very German.
Because
I can see you got your German passport, Sean. Yes.
I am now Germanized because I do that. I don't do it all the time, but if I know like some people's houses have got more slippery,
very cold, yes.
and then I'll bring and cold. Then I'll bring house shoes, or I used to. Nowadays I bring adult Stoppersocken.
Oh.
So these are like socks with little rubber bumps at the bottom so you don't slide around. And these are the best because then you walk around in socks, but they also got traction. So I love these things. And I often just take them with just in case there's no house shoes at the...
You know what we call them? Because we don't call them Stoppersocken, we call them Bremsesocken.
Bremsesocken, brake socks.
Braking socks, yes. Because as a kid, you run with them, you slide with them, and because they have the traction thing, you stop.
You just stop. Okay, so house shoes, and I can pretty much say from personal experience, what the situation is because the German will tell you at the door. They'll
offer you, yes.
They'll and if you do ask, they're very clear. Like but generally take the shoes off. I think that's usually my first response when I get in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the only difference is if I would be invited to my boss's home, or in whatever case I invite my boss. This is something formal, kind of formal.
Okay.
I would tell them to keep the shoes on. Also, coats off. Take your coats off. I know that, for example, Americans, they have their like 3 sweatshirts on. They keep them on. And also hats. Take your hat off.
Okay.
You're indoor. You're inside.
No one needs a hat inside.
Off. No one needs a hat inside. There's no sunshine, no breeze. If there's a breeze, you could argue I'm going to get cold. Also, what Germans do, I have not seen other countries do this, but Germans will actually do that. They will keep their scarf on.
Yes.
There might be a draft, and they might get cold, and that's why Germans often in like houses they don't know, they keep their scarf on.
Yeah, in case there's a draft, because Germans hate a draft.
In case
they hate a draft.
Germans hate a draft. It makes your neck stiff, and then you can turn your head, and that's not practical.
Not practical. Yes, I do know people who have visited me and kept scarves on. I've had that here where I am as well.
Yes, this is just the only outside accessory you're allowed to keep on, your scarf. No shoes, no coat, no hat.
Yeah. Okay, so we've arrived, we've taken shoes off, or we've left them on, depending on what the situation is, and then what happens is, let's say there's a few people already there.
Yes, you will be ushered into usually like the living room or the dining room, however the situation is, and then very practical. I know in a lot of cultures you have to greet anyone individually. Not in Germany. The host ushers the guest into the room, and either I say, "Hey, this is my friend Sean. Sean's from South Africa. He's new here," and you go like, "Hi," and that's it. Or I'll just be like, just go in, just say hi. I'm going to be there in 2 seconds. And then also all you have to do is like, hello, I'm Nina.
Yeah.
I'm Sean's friend. Nice to meet you all. You don't have to do any personal introduction.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
But usually everyone just tells you their name anyway when you're the new person, and you can. I'm Sean, and
when
that's
you're the
that,
new person.
whatever. But I think also with COVID now, people are also probably more reluctant to shake hands, go around shaking hands with everyone as well.
Yes.
So that's probably something that's going to fall away.
There was no necessity for that before.
Okay.
And yes, now you're in the room. Usually the host offers you drinks. I also usually have at least like cups for water and I don't know, Sprite and Coke on a table. A red wine might be on the table because it doesn't need to be chilled.
Yeah.
And then I would also offer you beer or white wine, or do you want a cocktail? If you're a good friend, like if this is not your first visit and not your second visit and you're good friends, I will also just say you know where everything is, and then you're allowed to go grab drinks or put the wine you brought with you into the fridge yourself if you're a good friend. If you have never been offered to just go and grab stuff, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Do not do it. Don't try to find stuff on your own. Don't do it.
Nina does not like that.
Also, no, Germans don't like that. Also, another thing, don't go looking for a bathroom. Ask where the bathroom is, because there's no bigger mistake you can do than just go look for the bathroom, and by accident you open the bedroom door, the kids' door, like
the very clean kids' bedroom, by the way.
Yeah, very clean, which has been cleaned, but you just broke the German's trust. You just went snooping in his privacy. Yes.
Yeah, you went into the private sphere.
Don't go looking for stuff. Ask where stuff is.
Right.
And like I said, if you haven't been offered to grab your own glass or grab your own drink, wait till you're offered, or ask, can I have a glass of water?
Yeah.
And then the German will feel bad because they haven't offered you.
Yeah. Or they might say, yeah, no, help yourself.
Yes, exactly. And even my friends who are allowed to go into my kitchen and grab stuff, never, ever, 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 if you're invited to a German's house, do dishes. Never.
You shouldn't offer? You can't,
no.
Can I help you with that?
You can offer. You will be told no, you don't need to offer. Also, you don't even have to carry. You're not supposed to carry your dishes from the living room or from the diner table to the kitchen.
Don't do it.
No. Unless you're good friends, then you can carry it, but you can never, ever clean your dishes.
Yeah, I do help out when we're visiting friends of ours, but these are friends that I've known for years.
Friends.
Yeah, these good friends. But yeah, if I think about it, if it's newish people, I would not offer to help. I wouldn't even offer to help. I would just kind of.
And you don't need to. Okay. You don't need to. But we're not that far yet. I mean, you made it in. You just met people. You got a drink. Now the host is serving you food. Same rule applies.
Before that, there's a whole thing around anstoßen with drinks as well. That people
you
need
get
to
your
remember.
drink. Yes. So you get your drink.
Yeah.
You get your little drink, and then
she's got an American.
No rule,
Nina's got an American large size
in my head.
soft drink with ice in it.
In a snowstorm. So you get your drink, and there's no rule on who says cheers first. The most important rules is look each other into the eye, and never cross arms. So if I'm toasting you and there's I don't know, your wife and my boyfriend, they're not allowed to toast over our arms. No, that's bad luck. And like I said, always look each other in the eyes when you say cheers or prost, or thank you for the invitation. Always look in each other's eyes, and I mean look into everyone's eyes.
It's so creepy though. It's so
everyone's
creepy.
eyes.
Yeah,
stare them deep into their soul.
Even after 15 years in Germany, it's still weird.
Yeah, but otherwise you're rude.
And what happens? So let's say there's a few people there, several other people are there. They already have their drinks. They're halfway through their beers or whatever. I just get my beer handed to me by my host. Now, what do? Do I cheers at this point?
Yes, at least when you get your beer. So you're the only one with a full drink. So every time you start a drink, you have to do this.
Yeah.
So if you and another guest arrive at the same time and he gets his beer a minute before you, don't drink before him.
Okay. Oh my God.
You don't have to cheer everyone because they already cheered, but you should at least you get your beer, you smile at the host, and you go to everyone, you look into the round and go cheers, guys, and then they will raise their glass with you. They will raise it with you. And like I said, if there's another person getting a drink at the same time, wait.
It's
super rude to start without the other person.
Yeah, and I can tell you this is one thing that is very strange when I go back to South Africa, because none of these these rules don't exist. And I will get a beer with someone and they will just start drinking it, and now
lawless.
I'm like,
lawless.
Lawless. It's no regard for societal norms. What is happening? Okay, so we've got our drinks, and now it comes to the dinner.
You're sitting down at the table, yes. Mm-hmm. The host brings the stuff. Unless he asks you for help, you don't need to help.
Yeah.
Most of usually the table's already set. He literally just needs to bring the dishes. And like I said, unless he asks you for help, don't help. And if you only ask one person, only this person gets up. It's not like that all of you, no, only the person he asked for help is going to get up. The food's on the table. So now there's, two important rules, which are kind of like contradictory. Yeah. While you're waiting for the food, it's important, like if it, with my friends, I don't care, but if it, like they're fairly new friends or you don't know them, keep your hands visible on the table.
This is a big one I've learned in Germany.
Yes.
Keep your hands on the table. And before you go to tell the second one, that is that something that bothers you? If you are sitting at the table with someone that you don't know that well, that you've invited to your house for the first time, is it weird when you can't see their hands? Does it freak you out?
No, but I'm very conscious if I'm invited somewhere where I don't know the people well, I'm very conscious of having very good proper etiquette. So,
and I suppose it's important if they're older.
It's very important if they're older people, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you can usually tell in German if we say they have a Stock im Arsch, they have a stick up their bum.
Yeah.
Keep your hands visible on the table. Don't play with your phone. Don't have them resting on your lap.
Okay.
No, have them on the table.
All right. And the second rule to that's contradictory.
The second rule, which is contradictory, never put your elbows on the table. Unless you already finished dinner and are telling a story, then it's okay to put your elbow back on the table.
Okay.
But while waiting for food or having food, never put your elbows on the table. Hands, yes, elbows, no.
Okay. That is very good. That is something that I have not done in Germany until recently. I only learned this rule very recently, that you shouldn't have your elbows on the table during a mealtime. And I just thought back on all the years I've been in Germany doing this. I'm like, oh my God, I've been to so many dinners where I was just flagrantly disregarding all laws of the country with my elbows.
All civilization. Oh.
Yeah. And my kids do it as well. I had never up until that point told my kids, hey, elbows off the table. But as we discussed it in our other discussion, this is something that they do learn in the kindergarten. So I'm okay.
They learn it in kindergarten,
okay,
yes.
Not having
You're
told
okay.
them
You
that.
don't worry. They learn it in kindergarten, and they will be told in kindergarten not to have their elbows on the table.
Right. Okay. Yes. So hands where you can see them, elbows off the table.
You don't want to see them, yes. Right. While you're eating, I mean, we all spill. I'm even if I'm German, I'm a messy eater because I talk a lot and then my hands go everywhere. It's okay if you spill. Try not to spill too much. The important thing, you can talk, but don't make like slurping, smacking your lip. Disgusting. I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Right.
This is something that will still offend me if you eat like a pig, like we say.
Okay. It's good to know. Nina does know the Germans would find that rude and off-putting, I guess.
It's rude. It's rude. Like, it's okay. Like if you're eating a soup or something hot, it's okay to blow your food. But like sometimes if I'm alone and I eat a soup and it's hot, I do the to cool it down. Yeah. Don't do it. And eat with your mouth closed. Important. Very important. Right. Don't talk when you have food in your mouth. Basic rules.
Okay.
So these are the eating rules. Yeah. And then I don't know if everyone does this, but this is something my mom was very adamant about, and I do to this day everywhere I go. If you want to indicate that you are taking a break from eating, but not done yet, you put your silverware, so your knife and your fork, on opposite ends of the plate. So they're like 180 degrees to each other. If you're done eating, both of them go on the plate, and the position where you put your knife and fork says something. So for example, if you imagine the plate is like divided like a clock, and 12 o'clock is like right on top of the plate, you should put them at 5 o'clock to indicate the food was very delicious.
So the fork on the 12 and the knife on the 5, or vice versa?
No. Both of them on the 5. You have fork and knife on the 5.
But at the 5 o'clock.
They're together at 5 o'clock. That means your food was good.
Okay. All right. And what means your food is bad?
Anywhere else where you put the food means they're bad. Like I said, if the knife and fork are on opposite ends and like their heads are pointing towards the plate and their their butts are on the table, it means you're not done yet.
Yeah.
You're just taking a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah.
But any other position that then that means the food was bad.
And that's something else I might have indicated to German hosts before. But I think people have a level of understanding that they're dealing with a foreigner, obviously. So Germans have some kind of awareness that, okay, they're not trying to communicate that they didn't like their food. And I think this might be
Like I
something
said,
that's also more old-fashioned, maybe. I don't know.
yes, like I said, I don't think everyone does this. My mom was very strict with it, and I don't check how my guests fork and knife are positioned. But then again, I make sure, or it's habit. It's habit.
Yeah.
Automatically, I'm done eating. My fork and knife go on 5:00.
Okay, that is very, very good to know, Nina. What about not finishing your food?
Oh, so two things. If you serve yourself, so there are two different options. It can be that you be allowed to serve yourself. If you serve yourself, you finish. Because otherwise you're responsible for bad weather.
Yeah,
the
you
next
put it
day.
on your plate. You put it on the plate. You eat what you put on your plate. But that also has an advantage, and the Germans do this a lot when you go over to their house. They generally don't dish up for you. They prepare different pots and vegetables and things in different places and salads and whatever. They put it all out on the table or some side serving table, and you can dish it out yourself. And that gives you a great opportunity to only take what you like and in the amounts that you know you can eat, which is really, it means there's no excuse for not eating everything you put on your plate, unless that is really horrible. And that's what you're telling them then when you don't eat it.
And that's what you're telling them. And exactly. And it kind of, I think at least it slows down the dinner if you do that, because let's say the mashed potatoes and gravy are on my side, but the meat and vegetables are on different side. So I've served myself first the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
Then I wait till you're done with the meat and like, can you pass me the meat? And you're like, only if you pass me the gravy. So it's kind of like more communication. It slows down dinner. So this is, like I said, if you serve yourself, rather start with a small portion. It is completely okay to at any point in time to refill your plate. Like you don't have to wait for everyone else to finish your plate to refill. It's okay to refill while others are still eating. You're even allowed to ask eating people, hey, can you pass me the vegetables again? Right. Completely okay. So my recommendation, start with a small portion and then go from there. If you get like your plate done, it is okay not to finish everything, but I would say at least eat 75%. Okay. And even if there's something on the plate you don't like, at least try it and be like, so good, but I was already so full from the rest of the food. But for example, I hate carrots and peas. Like worst thing you can do to me, carrots and peas. Yes, terrible. Until this day. And now, honestly, I will eat the carrots. I will not eat the peas. Like you put peas on my plate, I will not eat the peas. No
I need
chance.
to store this. I need to store this information somewhere, because I know you're going to come to my house at one day, and we're gonna feed you carrots and peas.
So like even if there's something you don't particularly like, at least try it and be like, it was good. It was good. Yeah. But I can also tell you, because you're afraid, every time I invite people over, I don't know what Germans typically do is there anything you don't eat? Yes, so usually you get asked.
Yeah. And that's one thing.
You usually get asked.
One thing I must say about Germans is that they're very good Gastgeber. They're very good hosts. They do ask, is there anything you can't eat? They do take into account that people could be vegetarian or gluten-free or whatever.
Vegan, yes.
And vegan. So
and you will get extra food. That. They might bitch and moan about it. You always with your allergies, with your vegan stuff, but they will make you vegan stuff. Yeah. They will make sure there is 100. They will not cook it in the same pot because they will not try to offend you. Yeah, the Germans will always ask you before if you have any preferences. So don't worry about that. Wow,
I know that it sounds like a minefield, but it's actually all fairly easygoing. And like I said, if you're a foreigner, most Germans are going to understand that. But it's good if you end up in a situation like I know when my wife was first interviewing for a job here in Germany, she ended up at her boss's house with her new colleagues for like I don't know whether it was dinner, but I think it was drinks. I think it was more drinks. And she even said it was so formal, like that was a real formal thing in the house. It wasn't a relaxed thing. So it's good to know that to understand what kind of situation you're going to, because in a formal setting, these kinds of things will probably be more expected, I guess.
Yes, and like I said, in a formal setting, you wouldn't take off your shoes. Yeah. Usually people arrive at the same time, because when it's a formal setting, there's no time frame. You arrive at 8:15 if it was 8:15. And if I wait outside in the cold for 2 minutes, I wait outside in the cold for 2 minutes. Yeah. So formal setting's different. And like you said, Germans are generally good hosts and very understanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just ask. If you have a question, just ask.
Yeah, if you have a question, just ask, and do not be offended if a German looks at you and be like, "What are you doing?" Germans are very straightforward, and if it seems weird or we're like, what the hell? Like,
Yes. And the Germans are champions at staring anyway, so we're
yes,
used to that. We're
if a
foreigners are
German
used to that.
stares at you, it generally means you're doing something different. It doesn't have to be bad, but they're just like observing you. They're like, is like, do you still have like all your marbles together? Like,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Okay, well, all of this is very, very good to know. Nina, you are as insightful and helpful as ever, so I'm really glad that people are good. And if you have questions, send them to me, and maybe I can try and get Nina to answer some questions, and not just about this, about anything that you might want to ask about German life, and maybe Nina can answer them in a future episode. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah, but she's pretty much a foreigner herself.
The alleged German will give her best answers.
The alleged German. We had a listener. I can't remember if it was a listener of this show or
it was a listener of the Germany Experience.
The Germany Experience claimed that you were allegedly German because you didn't like, what was it? Or there was something.
Some food. It was the food episode.
Oh, you know what it was? It was the difference between a falafel and a shawarma or something like that, or something like that.
No, a kebab,
That's
and a döner and something. A döner and a shawarma. Yes.
And he said that you're allegedly German, but yes, you are probably the least German that I know.
But I'm German nonetheless.
But you are German nonetheless, yes. All right, Nina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And definitely people should listen to our other podcast, Die Deutsche und der Ausländer, for other discussions just like this.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
See ya, Nina.
See ya, Sean. Thank you for having me.
And that's it for this week. Music in this episode by my band 10 Cent Janes, with additional music by Ryan Anderson. Until the end, stay healthy. Auf Wiederhören.